Today in the show, the 2026 World Cup in the United States of America has come to a close. In a grand final, the Spain national team defeats Argentina by a score of 1-0 to become the strongest team on the planet. This was a truly historic yet anomalous match, as the Argentina national team failed to register a single shot even toward the goal during the entire regular time of the game. Only at the very end of extra time, when the Spaniards scored their winning goal in the 117th minute, did Lionel Messi attempt to test the keeper. Throughout the entire game, the Argentines did not produce a single shot on target, limiting themselves to 2 weak attempts at the death. How they intended to win with such a display remains a massive mystery. Spain simply dominated every blade of grass, and the statistics speak for themselves. 65% ball possession, 20 shots overall, and 12 precise strikes on target against Emi Martinez. Looking at this total destruction in terms of play, only one question arises. How did Argentina even reach the final with this level of football? And how did the England national team manage to lose to them in the semifinals? Could it all come down to the cowardly tactics of Thomas Tuchel? Spain cruised through this World Cup in one breath, showcased the brightest football, and fully deserved the title. But 0 shots on target from the reigning world champions. What on earth was that? The author of that very golden and fateful goal in the 117th minute was Ferran Torres, who was named the man of the match. Receiving his well-deserved award, the Spanish forward could not hold back his emotions. I have been harshly criticized many times, but fate gives beautiful things to those who truly deserve it. This is not a goal by Ferran Torres. This is a goal for all 47 million Spanish fans. Honestly, before the match kicked off, I was torn on who to root for. On one side was an attractive, attacking, and dominant Spain, and on the other, a beautiful story about Lionel Messi. Before the game, people were seriously discussing that if Argentina won, Leo would claim his 9th Ballon d'Or, which would have been a spectacular curtain call for the great Masters era. However, as soon as the opening whistle blew, any sympathy for the South Americans began to evaporate rapidly. Watching Argentina's dirty and openly provocative play became harder with each passing minute. This team showed its worst side. When they win, they mock, jeer, and taunt their opponents. But when they lose, they instantly throw tantrums, kick legs, and scream at the referees. The total collapse of Argentina began with a fully deserved dismissal of Enzo Fernandez, who received a second yellow card for a harsh foul. Right after that, Lionel Messi himself showed a completely unappealing side. The Argentine captain ran up to the referee and began aggressively complaining about defender Marc Cucurella, who supposedly covered his mouth with his hand during an argument, though honestly, it looked more like a blown kiss from Cuckoo. Messi literally demanded that the referee show the Spaniard a red card for this gesture, which looked extremely petty and ugly for a player of his stature. Marc Cucurella himself explicitly commented on this episode after the game. There was nothing offensive, nothing racist or personal. We were both trying to gain an edge in a World Cup final. I simply told Messi that Spain would not allow the referee to hand Argentina the trophy and that the referee would not be on their side today. This happened right after Enzo's sending off. Leo hated that. He ran to the official and openly tried to get me sent off. I did not expect such an action from a man who is an idol for millions of kids worldwide. What are they supposed to think or learn from watching this? Honestly, it's just shameful. The Spaniards withstood this pressure, overcame even a bizarre decision by the referee to disallow a goal for a questionable foul, snatched the victory, and sealed their triumph. But after the final whistle, Argentina finally demonstrated a total lack of sporting dignity, instigating a wild mass brawl on the pitch that almost turned into an outright riot. While the Spaniards rejoiced and celebrated, midfielder Rodri was simply running across the field when Argentine defender Nahuel Molina viciously struck him out of nowhere. Rodri, of course, turned around to find out the reason for such aggression, but Molina puffed out his chest like a peacock and started looking for a fight. Teammates from both sides immediately swarmed in, and a scuffle broke out. Leandro Paredes particularly stood out, throwing Gavi to the ground and nearly beating him up right on the grass of the MetLife Stadium. After the game, Leandro Paredes tried to justify his wild behavior and issued a statement demanding respect for the Argentina national team. After the final whistle, I saw them celebrating right in my face. At that moment, it felt very painful and honestly, disrespectful. You must respect your opponent, especially after a match like this. I am not proud of how I reacted, and I want to apologize for it. Perhaps I overreacted and I accept all the consequences, but I also believe there must be mutual respect between players. Respect? And this comes from an Argentina national team player? Well, fine. I will just leave this without comment, as the whole world saw who behaved how on the pitch. The victim himself, Gavi, later revealed to journalists what exactly triggered such insane aggression from the Argentine. I honestly did not expect him to react that way. All I said to him was the phrase, "Lionel Messi could not save you today, and the referee didn't help you either." Presumably, these words cut Paredes to the quick. Once passions had cooled slightly, the veteran Nicolas Otamendi decided to continue the war of words. He angrily shouted toward Rodri and Aymeric Laporte, "You spent the whole week whining about the referees and the press. You talk way too much with your mouths." So the Argentines wanted to kick the Spaniards with impunity and have the referee ignore it completely? Or maybe, to win, they should have actually shot at the Spanish goal during the game? Amid this chaos, the behavior of the two main stars looked highly contrasting and beautiful. While their teammates were staging mass fistfights, Messi and Yamal quietly stood aside. Lamine was praying on his knees, while Leo just watched the whole show from afar. Once the conflict settled, Yamal approached Messi, warmly greeted the legend, and hugged him. Looking at these images, it was hard not to recall the legendary archival photo where a young Messi bathes a tiny infant Yamal in a tub. Time flies incredibly fast. The baby grew up, came to the World Cup, and took the main trophy of a lifetime away from his idol. Meanwhile, the head coach of the Argentina national team, Lionel Scaloni, could not contain his emotions at the post-match press conference and simply burst into tears in front of the journalists. It hurts. It wounds my soul. But what Messi did at this World Cup is simply unbelievable. I hope people are proud of Leo. He is the greatest football player to ever step onto a football pitch. Although, to be honest, I also consider Messi a truly magnificent football player. Aside from the main World Cup, the Spain national team swept almost all individual awards at this World Cup, demonstrating absolute dominance. The Golden Glove for the best goalkeeper of the tournament was won by Unai Simon, who had a phenomenal month. The Best Young Player award went to the young defender Pau Cubarsí. Meanwhile, the title of the best football player of the entire World Cup and the prestigious tournament Ballon d'Or was fully deservedly captured by midfielder Rodri. The leader of the Spaniards played out of this world, becoming the main brain center of the new championship-winning team. At the awards ceremony, Rodri delivered a very powerful and inspiring speech for future generations. I hope young players take my story as an example. Even when your career hits a low point, you can always bounce back and climb to the very top. This 2026 World Cup will forever enter football history as the final farewell chord of the grand era of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, for whom this was the last World Cup in their careers. This tournament will be remembered for unbelievable records, as the absolute historical record for the most goals scored at the World Cup was broken twice in a single month. First, the historical bar was raised by Lionel Messi, but ultimately his achievement was surpassed by Kylian Mbappe with 22 goals, who also became the tournament's top scorer with 10 goals. The World Cup will be remembered for the sensational performance of the tiny Cape Verde national team and their charismatic goalkeeper Vozinha, who became the most popular goalkeeper in the world on Instagram thanks to his crazy saves. Of course, it would not be complete without high-profile scandals. We will long remember how FIFA overturned Folarin Balogun's red card on the orders of Donald Trump, or the bizarre disallowed goal of the Croatian national team in the game against Portugal, where the computer system detected an offside because the ball supposedly brushed a microscopic hair on the Croat's head. And how about the England national team winning their match against Norway due to the interference of a spider cam, which the ball struck, completely altering its flight trajectory? This tournament shocked everyone with insanely expensive ticket prices, though American stadiums were still almost always packed to the rafters. The organizers effectively split the football matches into 4 halves by introducing mandatory water breaks in each half of the game. Though everyone perfectly understood, this was also done for the sake of showing additional commercial advertisements on television. And of course, special respect was commanded by the Japanese fans, who, following their ancient tradition, remained in the stands after each match and meticulously cleaned up all the trash behind them. This World Cup gave us a ton of emotions, scandals, and spectacles that we will remember for a very long time. Overall, despite everything, I thoroughly enjoyed this 2026 World Cup. How about you? Write in the comments which moment of this crazy World Cup impressed you the most.